read it in another cookbook. Paul Prudhomme actually has a great cookbook that he came out with after, I believe, his wife died of a heart attack. He modified a bunch of his recipes and came out with a really good cookbook. But this was his technique, and I tried it, and it works well. Just throw the vegetables in the bottom of the pan with the spices, keep it at a reasonably low heat, and it'll saute just like as if it would have oil. The natural water that's in the vegetables will kind of steam it, and it comes out great. So here's another way with the gumbo. What you can do is pump up the nutrition content. And this is the fifth step for modifying a recipe. And this is something that you can do with gumbo, and maybe this would be a little unfamiliar with gumbo. I know of one particular gumbo recipe called Gumbo's Herbs. That is an actual local recipe that uses vegetables in the gumbo. And so maybe it's familiar, maybe it isn't. But this is something you can do with many different recipes. Like for example, last night I got home really late from studying and I was starving, and so I made myself a quesadilla, which is pretty bad. I slipped. But what I did to kind of boost up the nutrition content of what I was eating is I sauteed some spinach and put some spinach inside the quesadilla. So at least I was getting some nutrition from my meal. I wasn't just getting all the fat from the cheese and the bad carbs from the tortilla. So anyway, this is something that you can do with the gumbo. What you do is you take collard greens or any kind of greens, and you roll them up in your hand and you slice them very thinly. It kind of like you're sort of like making noodles out of the greens. And not only does this pump up the nutrition content, but it also provides a really nice texture to the soup. This is something that my family's Portuguese, and there's a Portuguese dish that uses greens this way. So that's kind of how I got the idea to use this for the gumbo. But I think it comes out really well. It's something to try. If you don't like it, maybe it's not for you in this recipe, but it's something to try in your other recipes to boost the nutrition content, because you always got to be looking for ways to incorporate more vegetables in your diet, and this is one way to do it. Final step here is use a better carbohydrate, and this is very simple. A lot of people are opposed to brown rice because they say it doesn't taste as good, or they don't like the chewy texture. It takes longer to cook, all that stuff. But in things like gumbo, or just a cup of brown rice, I think it holds up pretty well to using brown rice. So that's something, again, to try with your gumbo is use brown rice instead. I also challenge you, if you're making etouffee or any other dish that you might be eating with rice, try using brown rice instead and see if it still tastes comparable. Maybe just as good. And the point of this, again, is more fiber, more protein, also has more nutrients like B vitamins and things like that are inherent in the grain of the brown rice. So you got plenty of incentive to use the better carbohydrates. So that's about it. So then you just serve and enjoy. So let's kind of take a look back and summarize what we just did. So again, what we were trying to do is add flavor without all that fat and all that salt. So we looked at the cup of butter that was in the original recipe, and we said, no, we don't need that. We can make a roux or a comparable roux-like thing by just browning our flour in the cast iron skillet without the oil, and it does fine. We saw that the recipe had way too much salt, so we looked at the seafood stock and we said, okay, we'll use half of a low sodium stock, and then the other half we're kind of going to use gumbo crabs and shrimp heads and things like that and make our own flavors, not add salt in it, cut the salt in half, still keeping that flavor. We looked at the andouille sausage and we said, we can use turkey sausage. That has a lot less fat in it, so that's another way. We're cutting out fat, still getting flavor. And then again, we are changing the carbohydrate from just straight going from a white rice to a brown rice, going from a simple carb to a complex carb. And then we're adding greens or whatever vegetable we can to boost that nutrition content. So these are things that I hope you will try to use at home. If not necessarily my recipe, perhaps you can use these methods to modify your own recipes so that you can cook healthy meals continually in your kitchen and improve the things that you like to eat so that you can continue to eat them. So that's all we got. Like I said, let's try it at home. Take a recipe that you think is the most unhealthy recipe and see if you can modify it to make it better. Serve it to your husband, significant other, kids, or whatever. See if they can tell the difference. That's my challenge that I give to you. And come in and tell me if you're having difficulties or any successes, things like that, because we love to hear it. Next time, not next time we're going to have a great speaker come in like Jock was talking about. But after next time, I'm going to be talking about the worst case scenario. And this is what you do when you come home late from work, you got nothing in your fridge, you forgot to freeze food for the week, there's nothing you can do but go out. And this is what you can do at fast food restaurants to still eat healthy, or what you can do at other restaurants to maintain eating healthy but still going out to eat. So as always, there's my email address. Email me with any questions, and let's get working.
Two quick things I want to do real quick, maybe take 2 or 3 minutes. How many of you guys have seen Dr. Gourmet's website? Visit it. That's great. We've seen a lot of good things on there, like hamburgers and pizza and red beans and rice that you can eat. Has anybody tried it out? Tried any of the recipes? There's the website. I'm sorry?
Curry level.
How was it?
Good.
Any other ones? We definitely encourage you guys to just try one before this program is over, because you will be sold on it. And I have to admit, when we first saw this program, I looked at his website, I was kind of skeptical too, and I was like, I'm not really a recipe type of person, just throw stuff in a pot and cook it. But really try the recipe. There's hundreds of recipes on there. Think of anything that you want to eat or things that you would go out to the restaurant and pay good money for. Go to the store, make an effort to get the ingredients, put it together, try it out, and you're going to be really, really surprised, okay? So just, if nothing else, try one of the recipes off this website, all right? Any questions for KC or I before we go upstairs? Yes?
How soon, when you're exercising, before and after, should you eat?
Good question. So before an exercise, you should eat an hour to 45 minutes before exercising. The reason why, whenever you eat and you're digesting your food, between 60 and 70% of your blood goes to your digestive tract. Okay, so if you have 70% of your blood in your digestive tract, we have 30% for working out. We don't want that. Okay, so now to 45 minutes before, after you're working out, for all practical purposes, within 10 minutes, you want to work out, because the reason why is because when you're working out, you reduce all the fuel in your muscles, or the glycogen stores in your muscle. You need to replenish that. So within 10 minutes of working out, if you can, you just want to eat something really light, not necessarily like a whole meal, but like half a sandwich, a small plate of pasta or something like that, just to get your blood sugars back up. Your body can reuse those proteins and carbohydrates to build those fuel stores back up in your muscles. So an hour exercise within 10 minutes, or as soon as you can after working out.
I get up and walk in the morning. Should I have anything before that?
You should eat something really light before it. If you eat too much blood can go to your digestive system. But like we said a couple weeks ago, if you wake up in the morning and work out without having eaten for the last 8 hours, you're not going to burn calories as well as you should, because your body's going to try to hold on to those calories because it's in a starvation state. So you want to eat something to get your metabolism
Like a piece
going.
of fruit?
Yeah, a piece of fruit would be great. An apple, banana, some grapes, something like that would be perfect. Another question in the back?
If someone has indigestion,
Actually, I'm not sure about the sodium content, how this helps it.
I think Tums is a better
Is it
option.
sodium bicarbonate? Is that what that is?
Yeah, but it does have really good sodium. I think Tums is a better option. That's a calcium bicarbonate.
Yes.
Is Casey going to fix this cowboy for next week?
No, that's what I should have done.
We'll try to work something out. Thanks for putting him on the spot, because I was trying to get my headphones to
And you can't cook in the library. You have to leave the library.